Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fix Blood Sugar webinar. I'm your host, Joe Barton, and today we just finished up. So I'm recording this after we did it, but we just talked about exercise and blood sugar. One of the best webinars we have had by far. We got into some really good emotional stories that Dr. Saunders started with. And then we got some people to share their stories and their success stories on the call. We had somebody that talked about how they almost died last September, and they had their lower leg was amputated, and yet following the program of with the diabetes solution kit and the products that they used from Barton Nutrition, they have gone from like an 8.5 A1C down to 6.0 A1C, and back in the gym, like, it was amazing. And so I want you to watch this episode, find the encouragement. And Dr. Saunders talks about exercise and the importance of it, and how it's not necessarily like all about lowering your blood sugar by exercise, but it's all the other benefits that come with it. He also talks about how food actually is the best way to get your blood sugar numbers under control, and how combining exercise with food is like a game changer. And so a little bit of an introduction here. Again, I'm Joe Barton with Barton Publishing and Barton Nutrition. If you want to join us on a future live call, we do these every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And so if you go to bartonwebinar.com, you can register and you'll get notified to join us on Zoom. And you can then, during the call, you can get your questions answered by Dr. Saunders, which is super valuable, and to get that specific help that you want as you're on this reversing type 2 journey. So highly recommend you do that. Also, on bartonwebinar.com, we list all the different products for easy reference. We have links to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, which is called the 610 Reset. And if you buy one of our products, you can use our special coupon code that saves you 25% off your entire purchase. And that coupon code is webinar25. And you just enter that in as you're checking out on the checkout page, and you'll save 25%. So you can see behind me here, I've got the supplements down there on my shelf, and we have each of those available for sale. Today we talked about CinnaChroma. This is our number one selling blood sugar supplement, and that one works great. We've got Nervala for nerve pain, and also helps with blood sugar. Turmeric BP Plus, which helps with inflammation and blood pressure. We've got an immune support product. My camera is not quite, there we go. So immune support, this has got vitamin C, vitamin E, elderberry, green tea, reishi mushroom, echinacea, quercetin, and NAC. So really good stuff. This one I use all the time, healthy gut support. This is great for digestion, and it's got prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes. Our newest product that we just launched is called Niagara XL. This is a testosterone enhancement program that helps to balance testosterone and estrogen, and it's specifically designed for men who've had ED because of metformin. Just launched this, getting some really good reviews from it early on, so this is a good one. Let's see, we've got Lean ACV. So this is a formula with apple cider vinegar and a few other things that helps with weight loss. And then we've got another one of my favorites, the Easy Relief Magnesium Spray. This is topical, so you spray it on your skin and it absorbs in, it takes as much as it needs, and so you can't get too much. And so the nice thing about this spray is, if you're consuming it in a pill form, sometimes you can get diarrhea or different things like that if you take too much. This spray, it doesn't leave any oily residue. And magnesium is super important for over 300 different functions in the body, including blood glucose metabolism and everything related to that. So highly recommend the spray. Tons of rave reviews on this. And then last but not least, we've got an iodine. Let's see, camera. Come on, camera. Neurometabolic iodine. Okay, for whatever reason, this isn't showing up real well. So this is a liquid form of iodine that you can add to your water. I'll do it right now just to show you. And a couple drops in there, mix it around. It tastes good. It kind of cleans up the water. But what this does is it's super important, especially for women. With thyroid, well, all women need to have iodine, especially if they're not eating a lot of food out of the ocean, because iodine deficiencies is a problem for women especially. Highly recommend this product. And so anyways, I just thought I'd quick run through our products. I've never done that before, all of them before. But you can get 25% off if you go to bartonnutrition.com and enter the coupon code webinar25. There's also multiple bottle discounts, so you can save even more than that if you buy multiple bottles at a time. Anyways, let's get going. We got the exercise fixed blood sugar webinar edition going today. Without further ado, let's get rolling. See you later. Hey. Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Guess what today's topic is? Exercise. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, did you get your workout in today? If you did, or if you did not, tell us in the chat, when was the last time you worked out and what did that workout look like? Put it in the chat. No judgment zone here, right, everyone? I'll be the first to say I haven't worked out in, an official workout, probably 6 days. I skipped my Monday workout this week because
You've been going for walks though and stuff outside.
Oh,
you haven't. Okay.
I haven't gone I did go last Saturday. So this week it snowed in South Dakota. I took a snow day from the gym because there's I don't know, what do we get? 4, 5, 6 inches of heavy snow and all that good stuff. So that was my excuse. But Dr. Saunders, how about you? When was your last workout?
This morning.
Nice.
I hadn't worked out for a long time. Well, I go on hikes with my son periodically, and I walk a lot and do stuff. But as far as like a workout, like actually doing something to build muscle, I wasn't doing it for a long time. And then I wrote this article on exercise, and I'm writing the article. I'm going, oh my gosh, this is important. I got to get busy. And so I started working out for the last 2 days. My arms are sore. My chest is sore. Yesterday I did an interval training with push-ups. And I got up to 30. You have to push hard for 30 seconds and then rest for a while, and then for a couple minutes and then do it hard. So I've been doing that, and I got sore muscles.
All right. That's a good sign, right? Yeah. Hey, we got some people chiming in the chat. Thanks for sharing when your last workout was. We've gone anywhere from just this morning to somebody that said not since 2020. Someone else said no workout with the gyms closed, but walks and gardening. So that's good. Someone else using the elliptical. What else we got? Chime in the chat. And Leslie, your turn. When was your last workout?
Today. I've
Nice.
had 4 weeks of really consistent working out, so I'm really excited. And honestly, I get really bored doing the same thing all the time. And so to do 4 weeks of the same program for me is pretty miraculous, actually. So yeah. I'm committed. I'm making it happen.
All right. Well, this is the fixed blood sugar webinar, and every other week we cover the basics of type 2, and that was last week and will be next week. But today, for the first 20 minutes or so, we're going to be covering a topic that is related to blood sugar, and today it is exercise. And so Dr. Saunders wrote an article for our Home Cures That Work members, and homecuresthatwork.com. If you want to check it out, you could probably read. Well, that one won't be posted for a little while yet, but anyways, wrote a really good article. You got pretty vulnerable, Dr. Saunders. You kind of shared, a little bit of your convictions, maybe personally. So maybe we'll get into that in a minute here, but we'll leave people hanging here for a little bit more. So a bit of housekeeping. If you're joining us on Zoom, we would love to get your questions in the Zoom. Go ahead and use that Q&A box at the bottom or in the chat as well. And we'll get to those in the second half of our hour-long webinar today. And also, if you're joining us on YouTube, be sure to register. Go to bartonwebinar.com. You can join us live on Zoom every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And we'd love to have you join us. We've got a lot of people on right now. And so get your questions in for later. Dr. Saunders will be going through those again. And if you're not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, be sure to check that out. BartonWebinar.com has the link for that as well. And we've got, I think this is number 82 now, right, for our webinars. And lots of great stuff we've covered. Lots of great feedback from people that join us. This journey to reversing type 2 is one that works better when you're on that journey with somebody else. And so that's why we're here, helping you guys know what are some of the tips and best practices for reversing type 2 and getting that under control, because it's really important. It's really important for your health, your life, your function, your mood, and all of that. So anyways, good stuff. Thanks for chiming in. Good job exercising. Dr. Saunders, let's get rolling.
Okay. So because I wrote an article on exercise, I started studying it, researching it. That's what I do when I write articles. I look at that. What does the research show? What's available? What's out there? And exercise is an amazing thing that I never knew. That way back in the past, in ancient Egypt, for example, they had regular exercises. They did calisthenics. They used their body weight. That the early Americans, the indigent peoples of America, they had exercises specifically for building muscle, using their body weight. Way back in Greek times, in ancient Greece, they started using free weights. They would actually make weights, kind of like dumbbells, like a kettlebell, but you reached inside, had a little handle in it. And they wanted to build strong muscles for war, so they could be good warriors, and for physical contests. So, things like the Olympics, right? And they were using free weights to build muscle, and then they wanted six-pack abs before six-packs were even invented. So exercise is nothing new, and working out is nothing new, and building muscles is nothing new. This is something that is as old as man. So I thought it was just like modern society, because in ancient societies, or in old times, people had to use their muscles to work. Working in a farm, there's a lot of work to do, and it's all muscle work. And going home and doing burpees, that would be stupid. I've been working all day. I'm not going to do that, or bench pressing or anything like that. I've been shoveling stuff all day, and I'm not gonna go work out anyway. So and not get anything done. If I'm going to use my muscles, I'm going to get something done. Well, that's kind of the way I felt about it. Like I want to do something, and for me, Joe said about my story. I've always done just organic working out. I was a carpenter, and so I'd be swinging a hammer all day long and lifting heavy beams and putting walls up. And I was using my muscles all day. So it was a good workout to be a carpenter. And that was all the way through medical school. And then after medical school, as I became a physician, my free time was spent building too. There was always something to do, whether it was in the garden, making a new garden, or fixing the garden, or I built 2 houses for my family to live in, one, and then a second one. Or I was remodeling something. There was always something physical, some physical labor that I was doing. So I never had like a gym membership or did anything. Now, all of my workouts were organic. Well, then as I get older, I'm using my brains more than my brawn, and all the projects that I have to do, they kind of pile up because I'm on a computer all day long. So I kind of left the exercise out, and then one day, my son ran a 10K, and I'm like, and my wife was all impressed. Wow, Christian ran a 10K. That's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, big deal. I did that. When I was in college, I ran let's see, what was it? 15 miles, averaging 7.5 minutes a mile. I was competitive in college. And she's like, oh yeah, well, see if you could run a 10K. And I'm like, no problem. So the next day, I drive the car out a very flat road, 3.1 miles, put a marker. Okay, that's where it is. And then drove the car back and then ran it. And I got out and I'm running along, and just within a couple of minutes, I'm like, I couldn't hardly catch my breath. I lost control of my breathing. So I got, okay, slow down, calm down. So I just started jogging a little bit. But even jogging, I got only with a whole lot of effort, I made it to the halfway point, and I could not run another step. I mean, like literally, I was ready to fall down. I could not go another step. So I had to walk back most of the way, and then I jogged the last maybe kilometer. And I was so crushed. I'm like, dang, I used to be so fit, and now I feel so unfit. I got to do something. So I tried all kinds of workouts of various kinds and did stuff, but I didn't stick to it very well. So now I'm doing a home workout. I would, take the stairs in the airport, and I have a garden, so I'm gardening. So it wasn't that I'm not physically active at all. It's just that I didn't have like a workout where I'm building muscle. So that's what I started doing. What I found is really interesting. I went around and interviewed people, and I asked them their workouts and why they work out, what motivates them to work out, and what they're doing to work out. And I got so many different answers. Like everybody was different. Nobody had the same kind of workout. I had a couple of people doing online workouts, but one's doing a yoga program and another's doing a calisthenics body weight program. I have some that are going to the gym. I had some that go out and run. I have some that do a heavy workout. I had one guy, he's like, yeah, this is the greatest. He said, my wife told me that I have to go work out because I'm miserable to be at home. I'm miserable to be with at home if I haven't worked out that day. So I go out and reluctantly go out and work out. He said, but after a while, I got to love it. It's like, I do feel better. I think clearer. I'm better at work. I feel more energetic, and I like going out in the morning. So some days he runs, some days he does kickboxing. And on other days he does like a gym workout, like bench presses and free weights and all that. And he said, when you come over, we'll do it. I'll take you up kickboxing. And I'm like, oh, great. That's just what I want. But exercise is extremely important if you have type 2. If your insulin resistance is high, then exercise brings down your insulin resistance. It opens up your cells and allows the sugar to get into the cells properly. It allows you to burn fat. where you're not necessarily burning fat while you're exercising. That's a big myth, by the way. A lot of people think, well, I'm fat because I don't work out. But actually, exercise, you burn primarily carbohydrates. And if you were to burn fat, which they actually did a study once with marathon runners, they were trying to get marathon runners to run an under 2-hour marathon, which is like sprinting for 26.2 miles. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't keep enough carbohydrates to run 26 miles. They don't store that much carbohydrates, so they couldn't carbo load enough. So they decided they had to burn fat. But the problem is fat's a low, kind of like a low octane fuel. They couldn't get the speed with the fat. So they had to do a mixture of the two. But it took even marathon runners 2 weeks of training, of being on a very low carbohydrate diet, to train their bodies to burn fat for energy. It's not something that's automatic. Even marathon runners, it took a while to do that. But you only need 1 pound of fat to run a marathon. And that's why they did that. Only 1 pound. Well, think about this. If you say, well, I'm going to go out and run to lose weight. Well, that means if you want to lose 1 pound, you have to run a marathon. And then if you want to lose 1 pound a day, that's a marathon every day. I noticed this first when I was in a CrossFit class. I took a CrossFit class for about a year. And one day the coach says, go over to that rowing machine and burn 100 calories. I'm like, 100 calories? That's nothing. That's like 1 apple, right? So I go over to the machine. This will take 5 minutes. And I get on the machine. 10 minutes later, I'm rowing along. I'm about dead. I look at it. I've burned 64 calories. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. It is hard to exercise and burn calories. It is really hard. So your purpose for exercise is not weight loss. Don't get discouraged if you go out and you start working out and you're not burning the fat, because the amount of fat you have on your body is determined by how much you eat, what you eat, when you eat, how much you eat. And the amount of muscle you have on your body is determined by your exercise. And that amount of muscle is really important, because that's what keeps your metabolism going. That's what keeps your insulin from becoming insulin resistant. So it helps you in so many ways. And as I was interviewing people, I had several of them that said, besides that guy that his wife made him go work out because he was miserable if he didn't, I had others, one that had chronic anxiety, like debilitating anxiety, like I'm taking Valium anxiety. And if he runs every day, he's fine. Doesn't need any Valium. Doesn't have the anxiety. And it doesn't have to be a huge workout. He says all he needs to do is jog for a half hour and he's good. So even just a light cardio for a half hour was enough to help to prevent him from getting panic attacks. So there are many mental, emotional, physical, and even it'll help your digestion. People who have chronic constipation and problems with their digestion do better when they work out regularly. Their intestines work better. So exercise is so good for you and so important. It's something that you should do every day. So, okay, some of the other things I learned. These are really interesting things. There is something called a muscle memory. Muscle memory is where you have, you've built up muscles and then you don't work out for a long time and you lose that muscle mass. It is much faster to build up to where you were before. So they actually did this research in Japan. They had people doing a 24-week workout program, or they were doing 6 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 6 weeks on, 3 weeks off. At the end of the study time, the ones that were working out for 6 weeks and then stopping for 3 weeks and working out for 6 weeks had just as much muscle mass as the ones that were continuously working out all the time. So it is not essential that you have to go every single day. Is if you're going to build muscle, you may have to do it more frequently, 5 times a week or something. But to maintain it isn't that hard. There's muscle memory, and you can keep up your muscle. Even if you haven't worked out in 3 weeks, you can go back and rebuild it pretty quickly, and get back to where you were and not be any worse off than if you'd never taken time off. So don't worry about it, if you can't do it every day, or you go on vacation, or you forget for a while. That doesn't matter. Whatever benefits you gain are easier to regain. So I gave the example of Arnold Schwarzenegger. This guy, I don't know if you've ever seen Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was 30. He was super buff, Mr. Universe, like huge muscles, all of his, he had a huge body mass index, but all of his weight was up. He had a 30-inch waist and large pecs and large arms, and he was very buff. So then when he was in his 60s, he had lost all the muscle, and he got belly fat, and he had the same body mass index, but it was all fat. So he was 30, it was same body mass index, it was all muscle. Then it was all fat. But then he started a workout problem. He's eating a mostly vegan diet, he says, and he's doing a workout. And it's easier for him at age 70 to get the muscle back because he had been working out so much, and there's muscle memory. So it's okay, even if you get flaccid, even if your muscles.
Yeah, if you have to go be governor for a little while.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you have to take some time off to be a governor, then you can go back and get your muscles back. Yeah. That was a really interesting eye-opener to me. The other thing is that there's a type of exercise that only high-intensity athletes used to use, or highly trained athletes had this type of workout that they call HIIT. It's high intensity interval training. What that means is you push really hard, like as hard as you can. And that doesn't mean you have to run, a 10-second 100-yard dash. It just means you do the best that you can for 30 seconds, and then you do something light for 2 minutes. So you sprint for 30 seconds, and then you walk for 2 minutes, and then you sprint for 30 seconds, and then you walk for 2 minutes. And it only takes 15 minutes a day to get the equivalent of what you might do in 45 minutes to an hour if you were just doing a cardio workout. Mm-hmm. It's a better workout because you actually build muscle doing this high intensity work, even though you don't have to sustain it for long periods of time.
Does that have something with your heart rate? Why does that work so well? Is it something with your heart rate? And
no,
up and
it's
down?
pushing your muscles to the limit.
Okay.
Every time you push your muscles to the limit, then you build to the next level, because when you reach your limit, then you go to the next level. That's why, if you go to a gym, the bodybuilders, they're always like, they're pressing the weights and they're just pushing. I can't get another one. Help me with this to get the last one up. They're pushing the limit, and that's why they build the muscle. So you don't have to build big muscles. If you push the limit running, it's not that you're going to get huge muscles. It's that you're going to build those strong muscles and get the muscle memory.
So let's talk about that high intensity interval training, because I've seen a lot of that over the years as being like the optimal way to work out. And so let's start at the basics. Let's say somebody hasn't exercised for many years, and maybe they're overweight and they might have some physical disabilities. Like how do you start in that regard, and like what's something that pretty much anybody can do in that regard?
Excellent question. Okay. And I'm glad you asked, because that's really important. If you think, oh my gosh, I got to go out and, sprint, run a 4-minute mile,
right.
30 seconds. No, that's not the point. The point is you're pushing to your limit, whatever that is. So if all you can do is walk from here to the mailbox, and you just walk as fast as you can from here to the mailbox, and then you can take it very slowly going back, that's fine. That's what you do. You just do what you can. If you can't do squats with 100 pounds on it, then just do squats with none. And if you can't do that, then just do some deep knee bends, and that's all. Or leg lifts. Do what you can, but the point is to push your limit for just 30 seconds. Just push your limit for 30 seconds.
That's encouraging, just because, you don't have to hit any sort of standard that someone else sets. It's more your own personal thing. Like, how many arm lifts can I do today? Or, and then it's really about consistency, right? And pushing yourself, whatever that might be. And then you'll see over time that you can improve on that as well. So we've had some really great testimonials have come in. So thanks for submitting those in the chat there. Also, just wanted to say, if you click on the little blue box, you can have your comments go to panelists and attendees. And so most of them have been sent just to the panelists. So most others on the call haven't been able to see that. But we had somebody, let me just do this. So someone fell out of a boat, thought they sprained their, I don't know if it was feet or ankles, struggled with blood sugar last summer, 400 to 600 levels, had skin ulcer, bone infection, blood infection, nearly dead in September, and sepsis set in. The ankle sprain that I worked and walked on for over months was shattered, dislocated ankle, had lower right leg removed in September. And that was a tough one to read. But then right after that, they wrote, Noelle called. So Noelle is one of our health coaches. Called in December. I started using your products and reading your literature. In January, A1C was 8.5. Yesterday, A1C was 6. Doctor took me off 2 out of 3 blood sugar medications, and also dropped 2 of the 3 blood sugar medications, and joined the gym. Trying to work out daily. Thank you. So that is a miraculous story. So thank you for sharing that. That is awesome.
Yes. Thank you. That is awesome, because if you think about it, somebody who's that far gone, that they've had an amputation of a leg, and they can come back and have normal blood sugars again. That is a great testimonial. What an awesome story.
That is awesome. That's one of the best I've ever seen. So thanks for sharing. That was great. And so, if this person can do that, we don't have an excuse. And just to think of how good that must feel for them to go from nearly dead, sepsis set in, and then 6 months later, blood sugar back to, great levels, going to the gym, even though they had an amputation. Hey, life is more about, trying to reach this perfect goal. It's hey, enjoy as much as you can. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Today's Fixed Blood Sugar webinar is sponsored by CinnaChroma, our best-selling advanced blood sugar support formula. Now, thousands of people around the world are taking CinnaChroma every day as part of their program to fix their blood sugar using natural ingredients that simply work. Now, Dr. Saunders formulated CinnaChroma to meet key nutritional deficiencies that most people have unknowingly suffered from for far too long. With CinnaChroma, you get a blend of 6 key ingredients. The perfect combination of chromium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2, which it's important to take those 2 together, selenium, vanadium, and our 10-to-1 cinnamon bark extract. Now, if you're not already using CinnaChroma, I highly recommend that you give it a try and see how it helps your energy, your weight, and your blood sugar numbers. You can get CinnaChroma at bartonnutrition.com or on Amazon. If you get it at bartonnutrition.com, you can enter the coupon code webinar25 and you'll save 25% off at bartonnutrition.com. But I realize some people like to go to Amazon as well. So anyways, CinnaChroma, highly recommend. Now let's get you back to the Fixed Blood Sugar webinar.
All right, Leslie, you like to exercise. You were telling us about how you kind of got back into the swing of things with exercise. Talk a little bit about what you're doing and if you have any questions for Dr. Saunders that are relevant to that.
Sure. I've seen some questions come in where people are looking for recommendations. One of the fun things about, I think, trying to be active, if you don't have a hobby or you're not able to get out, or maybe you have some limitations, luckily we have YouTube. And so you can search for example, my 94-year-old grandfather is living with my parents. He wanted some things to be active. And so I found a YouTube video for seated workouts, so things where you just sit in the chair and just getting some movement, and there's so many of those things. Those of you in the 610 Reset group on Facebook, which you can join if you haven't already, I'll post that link shortly. I shared some videos of the Cornish walking trails. And so even if you're standing in your living room, you can watch the videos and walk in place. Now, that might not be exciting to some people. I think that's great. I love to mix it up. I like to pretend that I'm traveling, even if I'm stuck in South Dakota in the winter when it's -40. So there's a lot of options to find some things that you like. Someone had asked for something maybe to do on the treadmill. A couple of things. Many of you may have heard of the Peloton bike or the Peloton tread. They're amazing. I do not have one, but I really want one. So I got the Peloton app. So you can do all of those walking. You can walk to nature scenes on the treadmill, or you can walk with a guided instructor. The cost for the app is, I'm not even sure, maybe $15 a month. And so there's a lot of options on that. So find something that works for you. I'm currently doing Beachbody. I have a Beachbody subscription where I can do any of their workouts at any time. And so I've done a lot of different things and I like to mix it up. That's just my personality. So find something that you like. And if you have questions or you need ideas, reach out to us. The 610 Reset page is a good place to ask questions. There are other people who will, and we have some of the best people that are part of that page and a part of this webinar. Ask your peers. They have great ideas and recommendations too. So don't be afraid to ask. Mm-hmm. We did have some questions come in as well. Let me see if I can get to them.
Once you look, one more thing as you're looking for those. So, well, two things. First of all, I was just thinking about Tom Brady. So Tom Brady is, I think he's 43 or 44 years old. He just won his 7th Super Bowl. And if you look at his, when he was drafted, however many years ago, like he was not a physical specimen. Like he looked like, a video gamer that never worked out. And here he is, like 20 years later with all of these Super Bowls. He's considered the GOAT, the greatest of all time, by far, best football player to ever play. And he's still playing. And he really had a transformation in his exercise. And what he focuses on more is like pliability and flexibility and stretching. And somebody mentioned yoga and stretching as being important too. And like that isn't as high intensity, but like, can you talk about that, Dr. Saunders, the importance of kind of staying flexible and pliable?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was a great book about stretching. A Japanese man lived into his 80s and was very active, and so they asked him, "How do you stay so active and mentally sharp and everything?" He says, "I stretch out every day," and that's all he did. Just his organic activity kept his muscles. So he wasn't like muscular. He didn't do high intensity workouts. All he did was stretching. So yes, stretching is a great way because as you stretch, you keep your muscles pliable, and then yoga is actually a pretty good workout for several reasons. First of all, stability. And stability is so important as we age, because it's easy to lose your balance if you're not keeping your muscles active, and you're not able to do that, because the muscles have stretch receptors in them, and you have to work with them over time, so that they can tell where you are in space, and where how much weight is needed to manage this, and so you don't get off balance easily. Those help keep your balance. So yoga is an excellent way to do that. In fact, in many areas of the world for thousands of years, like in the Far East, in China, that's all they do, is essentially a yoga type, or a Pilates, or a Tai Chi type of workout, which is more of a movement and stability and core strengthening than free weights and muscle building and bodybuilding and high intensity stuff.
Yeah. So I've got to read this one more comment from the man that inspired us, man or woman. I'm assuming a man, but it could be a woman. So he said, "You're all amazing products," and told my grandson after getting my 6.0 A1C test the good news. I plan to live another 20 years. Bad news for him that I plan to spend most of his inheritance by then. Well, I would imagine your grandson would much rather have his grandpa around for 20 more years than the money, because money you can't replace human life. So that's awesome.
Well, the goal in life is to live long enough to use up your entire children's inheritance.
That's right. And so for me, real quick, my exercise, and you wrote about this, is you said find something that you love to do, as opposed to like something just for the sake of exercise. And so 8 years ago, right around the time I turned 40, I started playing hockey. My friend had a son who played, and he's like, "Hey, let's start an old man's league and try to learn how to play." And like neither of us could really skate or anything, but anyways, we did it. We went out, went skating outside when it was cold, and played once a week. And I quickly grew to love it. And each time I went out, I got a little bit better, and I loved it a little bit more, even though I wasn't great. But I'm still playing 8 years later. And I've got a hockey game tonight. I'm actually in a C league with a bunch of guys. And we were just talking like the other day how our league and the players in it, like we're all getting better at the same time. And it's just a lot of fun and competitive. Like, man, it gets me fired up. And so if you can find something like that you love, like there's so many different options of sports or exercise things. There's got to be something that you're going to connect with. So
you're throwing elbows and getting black eyes and
not intentionally. No, not intentionally. I finally learned how to stop, so that's helped.
You don't have to run into somebody to stop.
Yeah, I got to let my dog out. He's going a little nuts here. So Leslie, back to you. Question.
Okay, one other thing I was going to mention. I used to teach water aerobics, actually, with Joe's wife, Amanda. So we both taught water aerobics, shallow water and deep water. And I absolutely loved being in the deep water. All ages can do deep water. So once gyms open back up, or pools for many of you, I can't even recommend that enough. It's such a good exercise. You feel so good. And there's also the social part of it. It got to be the same group of people who would always come there at certain times of the day. And it was something people really look forward to. So I definitely would recommend water as well. We do have a lot of questions, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started with those. Let's see here. Someone did ask, are these HIIT exercises a recommendation for both men and women?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, for both men and women. And the purpose of the HIIT, the high intensity exercise, is to build. So pushing the limits. But the cool thing is that you don't have to push the limits for a long period of time and totally be wiped out and end up in bed. that you only need 30 seconds at a time, and then relax for a little while, for 2 minutes, and then 30 seconds, and then relax for 2 minutes. So that's the idea to build. And if you're consistent with it, doing it 5 days a week, you will build, you will get better, you will improve your functioning over time.
Okay, another question. Can I just eat well and not worry about exercising?
Yes, of course you can. It's all about food. So as long as you have some form of exercise, like, you walk around in the store, and just, your organic life is going to have some amount of exercise. If you like me, I don't want to go out and just burn energy for the sake of burning energy. If I'm going to burn energy, I want to accomplish. I want to be able to stand back and say, wow, look at that house I built. That's really cool. I want something to show for my efforts. I don't want to just have burn energy, right? So I have a garden, and that's one of the things I do. But I'm doing more of the workouts just for the sake of getting my intensity now, my fitness back.
So is it a matter of getting your heart rate up? Is that what exercise is?
No, it's not. You don't even have to measure the heart rate. It's just pushing your limits. And then as you see your limits increase over time, then that's how you're reaching your limits. I used to be able to only do 5 push-ups, and now I can do 10 in 30 seconds. So, it gets better.
Awesome. Okay, we have a question from Georgia. Let's see. Georgia is wondering if there is iron in any of our supplements, and will the men's new supplement help with erectile dysfunction?
Okay, the new men's supplement, Niagara XL, is specifically made for improving testosterone and estrogen testosterone ratios, which some men will find that they get erections better because of that. So it might. The odd thing is, and this is kind of weird, when they did studies with testosterone, so they have men who are low in testosterone and they have erectile dysfunction, they gave them shots of testosterone, or they gave them shots of oil that had no testosterone. And only 10% of the men could tell the difference from the shot of testosterone versus the shot of oil. 10%. So, testosterone is not the whole picture. Erectile dysfunction is much bigger than that. And it's actually more of a mental issue, much more of a mental issue than a hormonal issue. And the second question that she had was about the iron. Part of the reason we don't have iron in any of our supplements is iron is not a common deficiency. In order to get iron, some people need to take iron, and especially if you've had any losses, like stomach ulcers that cause bleeding, or if you've had an accident, or whatever that can cause iron losses. It's not common. And iron is an irritant. Iron is an oxidant. It causes oxygen-free radicals. So we don't want to have iron for everyone. That's not a good everyone supplement. Only people who have tested, their ferritin levels are low, their iron levels are low, they need iron. They're anemic. They need iron. They should be taking iron. But make sure you take vitamin C with your iron, because vitamin C helps you absorb the iron.
So real quick, we've had a couple people asking about supplements. And so we have, if you go to bartonwebinar.com, the products that we talk about or have talked about in the past are all at the bottom of bartonwebinar.com. And also somebody asked about the discount code. And so because you are a guest of the webinar, we want to treat you with an extra 25% off your entire order. So you just enter webinar 25 as the coupon code when you're checking out, and you'll get an extra 25% off. So bartonwebinar.com and webinar 25 as the coupon code.
All right. Good stuff. Here is an email that came in from Wenda. I just signed up for the diabetes reversal program and I haven't received or started any of the supplements yet. So I'm a genuine newbie. Recently, I ordered and received a product called BioTrust Keto Elevate MCT powder. The point about this product that interested me is that if someone ingests more carbs than would allow, this small amount of this product can be stirred into a beverage and provide extra ketones to maintain a proper ketosis level. My question is this product something that could be okay to use in order to stay on the diabetes reversal program and keep your carbs down?
The quick answer is yes, it's okay to use. MCT is medium chain triglyceride, and it's an oil that comes from coconut oil that is made into ketones very quickly in the liver. And that's what they're saying. You can keep your ketone levels up, but don't forget something, that oil is oil and it is calories, and it is energy. So it's not like you need that extra energy or those extra calories to burn. If you're burning your own fat, the fat that's on your body, and your ketones are high, that's great. And that's where you get all the benefits from it. If you're artificially inducing ketosis, you have, that ketosis is okay, and that's good. And that's good for what it does. Maybe your brain will function better, and you'll keep the ketones high. But you don't get all of the benefits unless you're in ketosis because you're burning your own fat. So my recommendation is rather than adding in that MCT oil, that you should burn your own fat.
Okay, question came in from Leanne. She has heard you talk about turning off the sugar sink. Can you give suggestions on how to turn the water off in a clogged system? Stop eating sugar or any other sweet things. But are there any other suggestions? Should she follow the plate diagram?
Okay, the plate diagram is not a bad way to do it. That's okay. That's a great question, because the turning off the sink is shutting off the calories. So if you want to turn off the sink all the way, then that's fasting. That means you're not eating anything at all. So because every time you're bringing calories in, that is, you have too much calories already. Fat makes you resistant to insulin. Protein causes you to release insulin, and carbohydrates cause you to release insulin. So what we've done is we've said in phase 1, cut out the carbohydrates so you only have the fat and the protein, and then eat a lot of fiber, because fiber is non-caloric. It doesn't have any calories at all and won't induce insulin. And that keeps the insulin down, and that can work really well. As you've seen, there's been a lot of people that say, this really works. So that's partly shutting off the sink. The other thing you can do is cut out the fat. If you cut off the fat, then you don't get insulin resistance. And so what does that leave you? Well, you can have all the broccoli and celery and spinach and lettuce and carrots and cucumbers, and you can live on that, and that's cutting out the fat and cutting out the carbs at the same time. So if you really want to shut off the sink, you can eat like a rabbit, and you know what? It works, and it works great, and it's been studied in many different situations, and it even reverses heart disease. It's not a bad way to go.
Okay, we've had a few questions about CinnaChroma and taking metformin. Leanne is asking how soon or what can I expect from seeing, or what can I expect as far as results once I start CinnaChroma?
Okay. CinnaChroma is not like metformin. It doesn't have a purpose of making you better or lowering blood sugar. It's an aid. It's a help to make sure that you have the proper nutrients that you need to process sugar easily, so that you can get your insulin resistance down, so that you can burn sugar properly. Because most people in our society are deficient in chromium, vanadium, selenium, which are minerals which are necessary for the proper utilization of blood sugar. And vitamin D is a very common deficiency as well, and that's needed for blood sugar use. The cinnamon is something, yes, kind of like metformin to help keep the blood sugar down, but also to change that sensitivity so that you can be more sensitive to the insulin, so that you can drop your insulin levels down. And that helps you by not making you hold on to fat as much. It allows you to start burning the fat that you have. So don't look at it as, I'm going to take this and my blood sugar is going to drop down. That's not what it's for. And that's what medications are for, but that's not what this is for. This is to help you along a path so that it makes it easier for you to start burning fat, to get lower insulin levels, to make you more efficient at burning sugar, so that you can use up all that excess that's been building up over time.
Okay, and we've had some questions about taking medications and when they can stop taking those. Many people are wanting to get off medications, but do you recommend that they just stop them right away? Or what do you recommend? And probably a disclaimer would be good right now also.
Okay, yeah. So everything that I recommend is for general audiences only. So what you do is you ask, does this apply to me? And the person you ask would be whoever's prescribing the medications for you. And you go to them and you say, okay, so my blood sugar levels are getting low and I'm worried, this is the key ingredient, I'm worried that I might get hypoglycemia. Which medication can I get off of first? And I'll tell you what it should be is the sulfonylureas, like glucotrol, and glipizide, glyburide. Those medications can cause you to make too much insulin and cause the blood sugar to drop too low. So those would be the first ones to take off. Metformin would probably be the last one. That's the most common one that most people are on. That one you could stay on until you're really proficient at burning fat, and then you can get off of that one too. So that would be sort of my scale of which should come off first. And but your situation may be different. So work with whoever's prescribing them for you is going to know that if your blood sugars are going down, then if you're on 3 medications, you better get off of one if you're starting to get too low.
Okay. Mike is asking, he said he went to the endocrinologist last week. They put him on the Freestyle Libre 2 monitor for 14 days. It's attached to my arm with tape over it, and it goes into the skin. They keep pushing for me to get on metformin because of all of the neuropathy. Do you think blood sugar will come down being pre-diabetic with a 5.9 A1C without this medication and any supplements as well? Thank you for your time. So wondering if it'll come down without all the medicines.
Okay, so a 5.9 A1C is not diabetes. That's what we call pre-diabetes, but it's best to look at it on a scale of no insulin resistance and super high insulin resistance, and diabetes is like somewhere in the middle. So you're on the close to diabetes side, and what a lot of fun to have that monitor on, where you can watch your blood sugar. It'll graph it when you put the thing near it. It'll graph your blood sugar and show you where you are all the time, and then you can use that to your benefit to eat something and then follow your blood sugar and go, oh my gosh, I ate some lasagna and it just made my blood sugar go off the charts. Or I ate some watermelon and it made it, so you can actually follow specific foods when you have those kind of monitors without having to prick your finger all the time. So I think that's a cool thing to have. You know, if I was pre-diabetic and I had one of those monitors, then I would use it to my advantage to see what I eat, how what I eat affects my blood sugar. And I could have an immediate response, immediate look at it. You know, within an hour, you can see it go up, depending on what it is. Now, your real question is, do I have to have the medicines? No, the medicines, all they do is bring the blood sugar down. In fact, most of the time, they make you more insulin resistant. Yeah, they bring the blood sugar down, but they create more of the problem part, and that is insulin resistance. So it's not essential that you do the medicine. So and especially since you're really non-diabetic. So I would use the monitor to my advantage and follow the diet and see what affects your diet and just go, you know, I'll put off the medicines. I think I can do this with diet.
And keep us posted because we want to know how that's going for you as well.
Yeah, I'd love to know how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Luann, I have been using CinnaChroma faithfully since October 24th. 1 CinnaChroma every day, sometimes 2 on Saturday and Sunday. This is now 5 months later. Should I slow down on my use or can I keep going? I love it and I'm almost afraid to stop. My A1C is perfect, below 6.0, and I've lost 22 pounds. Now what?
Wow, cool. Good work. I applaud you. Okay. So do you still need CinnaChroma? Okay, one of the reasons we formulated CinnaChroma in the way that it is not just as this is going to lower your blood sugar, but anybody who has type 2, anybody who has this kind of a problem, it has a genetic weakness to it, because not everybody who eats the same way is going to get this problem. So the CinnaChroma is formulated for a regular supplement. So people who are like pre-diabetic, like pre-diabetic, like 5.7 hemoglobin A1C, I put them on CinnaChroma because they're getting the chromium, which they can't get from food, vanadium, selenium, vitamin D. These aren't things that are in your foods. As you're eating, you're not going to get that. So I tell them this is a supplement that they'll be taking all their lives. So then the question is, do you have to take 1 or 2 every day? Well, not necessarily. It's formulated so that you could take 1 a day. If you took 1 a day, you would have good levels of vitamin D. You wouldn't get coronavirus. You would have good levels of chromium, vanadium, selenium. So 1 a day would be adequate. And if you skip days, no problem. In fact, that's a good thing. In fact, you might even go to taking it 5 days a week and taking weekends off, because it's been found that supplements work better if you take some time off anyway.
All right. We're running out of time. We've covered a lot. Yeah. Anything, Jill, you want to add in here?
Are you at home or are you still in California?
I'm in California. I'm in Solvang, California.
Are you in your usual Thursday location? I wasn't sure if you had to go right at the top of the hour or not. So yeah, I'm in my usual Thursday location. Someone's going to come walking in the door in a second. Okay. So we will wrap up here in a few minutes. So yeah, no, thank you very much, Dr. Saunders. This was as always, very helpful, informative webinar, and hope that you guys watching felt the same way. So yeah, if you can, so real quick, we were talking about, we shared some of these testimonials with our team, and they were wondering, hey, would anybody be willing to give their testimonial on video? And so if you would be that person, we would love to get a couple of you that we could maybe contact, and I could do a FaceTime call with you and then record it, or we could do a Zoom call. But if you would be willing to share your story, we would love to do that with you and get that so we can share it with others and encourage others. So just let us know. Just maybe put your email address in the chat, and I'll reach out to you, or Leslie will here. after the call. So we would appreciate that so much. Would love to get some of these on video. So, and then maybe put them on our YouTube or whatever. We can talk about it. So thank you so much for doing that. Leslie, were there any other questions that came in?
There are a lot more questions. One thing I want to just mention quickly, we have a lot of new people on today, which is awesome. We have bartonwebinar.com, our list of frequently asked questions. And so I'm seeing a bunch of those questions that we've addressed with Dr. Saunders come up. So if you're wondering why your levels are so high in the morning when you wake up and you haven't even eaten, we answered that question at bartonwebinar.com. If you want to know a little bit more about metformin, CinnaChroma, et cetera, you can go there as well. So I'm just going to kind of do a blanket answer to a bunch of your questions. You're going to find a lot of answers there. Also, there is a link to our YouTube channel. Guys, do a search when you get to our channel, because if you have a question, I guarantee you someone probably has asked it before. So just type it in there or a topic or something. I think you're going to find webinars on those topics. But as always, we try to get through as many of these as possible. Did you see any that you wanted to quick address before we hop off or before he goes to meet with his patients?
Yeah, we've got 3 or 4 people that have sent us their email addresses. So thank you. We've got to make sure we collect those or get those copied here, Leslie, if you want to get those. And yeah, we'll stay on. Dr. Saunders, if you need to go, that is totally fine. We'll probably stay on for a few more minutes here, but thank you again. Great job. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable about your own exercise battles as well. So
yeah, you can read that in Home Cures That Work.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. That'll be coming soon. So any last words before you head out?
Yes. Several times it's been asked, do I have to exercise? The answer is the best way to stay out of a nursing home is to exercise. Okay. I just want to emphasize that the best way to stay out of a nursing home is to exercise, because if you can walk for a mile, then you will be good enough. Barring any horrible accidents and things that do happen, which we've seen, the more exercise you get, the better off you'll be.
That's right. All right. Good stuff. Right. Thanks, Dr. Saunders. We'll see you next week. Well, soon. A few days. I get to see you in person. And he's out of here.
Hello. Okay, today's Fixed Blood Sugar webinar is sponsored by Easy Relief Magnesium Spray. Now, this is fast absorbing magnesium that is a topical spray that you spray on your skin. And it is vital for over 300 functions in your body. Now, the nice thing about this magnesium is, first of all, you don't have to ingest it, so you can't take too much of this. Your skin is great at absorbing only what it needs. So you spray about 30 to 50 sprays of this per day, and I personally do it 2 to 3 times a day of 10 to 15 sprays, and I do it on my chest and my legs typically. And this is going to correct the deficiencies that most people have. Now, how do you know if you need magnesium? Usually the symptoms are you have muscle cramps, trouble sleeping, if you're fatigued, if you have erratic blood sugar, if you experience any type of numbness or tingling, or if you feel down in the dumps or feeling blue. Now, those are all different types of symptoms that a lot of times magnesium can help with. So highly recommend this product of Easy Relief Magnesium. It is super easy. You spray it on. You don't have to take a pill or anything like that, and you don't have to worry about absorbing too much. This absorbs quickly. Now, this will get into your body in less than 2 minutes, into the bloodstream and circulating through. So it's a lot faster than if you take a pill with magnesium in it. So it's super important for metabolism, metabolic function. If you have insulin resistance, magnesium will probably help with that. There's a connection between low magnesium and insulin resistance. It's great for relaxation and sore muscle relief. It helps you sleep. Great for muscle cramps and achy joints. there's no sticky residue. So a lot of times if you find a different magnesium spray, it's not bonded with water like this process has done. So this doesn't leave a sticky residue at all. So it's great. It doesn't sting. It improves your mood. And there's just all sorts of different, again, there's 300 different functions that magnesium is used in the body. Highly recommend it. It's 365-day guarantee, just like anything. You can get it at bartonnutrition.com. And if you want to save 25% in addition to our already discounted prices, use this coupon code webinar25 as a coupon code. Again, that's at bartonnutrition.com. and Easy Relief Magnesium. Highly recommend it. Dr. Saunders approved. It's all natural and safe. Get yours today. All right, thanks. Now back to the webinar.
So he's a busy doctor. He's got patients coming in the door, as you can see there, and we really appreciate Dr. Saunders. So good stuff. And yeah, we're just going to stay on here for a few more minutes. If anybody wants to give us your email address, Leslie probably have you reach out directly so they can look for an email from you, and then we'll maybe set up a time to hop on a Zoom call and get you on video to share your story of how you have improved your health using the information that you've learned from Barton Publishing, Dr. Saunders, Barton Nutrition, and all of that. So there's people in this world that are suffering, and like there's no better way to encourage someone than to share your own personal story to help somebody else through maybe a place that you've been before, and that you can encourage others to see progress in their life. So hearing that story about living another 20 years to spend your grandson's inheritance, that's one of my favorites ever. Would love to get that on video. I don't know if I think you did share. So yes, looking forward to talking. So thanks for sending that over. And yeah, lots of great feedback. So thanks everybody. Again, bartonwebinar.com is where you can go. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can register at bartonwebinar.com to join us live on the Zoom and get your own questions answered. We also have, I think, 8 frequently asked questions on that site right there that we recorded in previous webinars. So those FAQs are about sweeteners, why is blood sugar higher in the mornings, when do I go from phase 1 to phase 2 of the diabetes solution kit, which, by the way, I didn't mention, but this is the program that Dr. Saunders and I have been talking about on our webinars. So if you don't have this, make sure you get a copy of this. This has the phase 1 reversal program in there, eating low carbs, 20 grams of carbs a day until your blood sugars get into that normal range. We have recipes and grocery lists and all things like that. So yeah, anyways, so that's good stuff. I think we've got we had another email address. Thank you very much, Glenn. And okay, Glenn wants to know, what is the doctor's phone number? So we mentioned that in the past, but if you want Dr. Saunders to actually be your doctor, which he can do that via telemedicine, we call it the Dial-A-Doc program. It's $49 a month. Dr. Saunders runs that on his own. We just like to promote that for him because he's amazing. But if you want to be a part of that, he's got an office phone number. And Leslie, I don't know if you have that handy.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Right there.
Posting it right there. Okay, so it's 805-688-7171. And yeah, you can call that number, and I think his a nurse or assistant will answer that and get your information to get you signed up, do like an intake form and all that. And then for $49 a month, Dr. Saunders can take your calls, emails, text messages, give you recommendations that are personalized and things like that. So he's a medical doctor, but he specializes in functional medicine, which is getting to the root cause of why you're having health problems. So that's what I love most about Dr. Saunders. It's not, he's not like your normal doctor that just looks at your symptoms and says, well, take this medicine and it'll help your symptom. Well, that's really not helping get to the root cause of it. So, so Sita said, I missed out what we do with the Dial-A-Doc. So Dial-A-Doc is just Dr. Saunders' personal, like he sees patients all over the country and can do that personally. So if you want to work with him, if you have any, additional health challenges, you can do that directly with him. So that's not through Barton Publishing, but yeah, you can call him, talk directly, and he'll answer your questions specifically. So, and I don't know honestly how long he's going to have that program available, because he was talking about his, he hasn't been exercising or working as much physically because he's at his computer so much, probably with COVID as well. So that's increased a lot. So at some point he won't be able to take any new patients, I'm sure, but that's still open. And yeah, it's really helpful. I've been using that for, I don't know, 10 years now. And Leslie, you and your family, almost that long as well. And so he's just amazing. So love Dr. Saunders. And okay, well, let's wrap up here. And this has been awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Leslie. And the sun is shining here in South Dakota. I think I need to go outside and take some breath of fresh air and maybe throw a few snowballs at my dog or something before it melts. But it's good. Okay. Leslie, any last words? You got something.
Yeah, normally I would, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week, Thursday, 11 a.m. Central. Thanks and God bless. Take care. And we'll be calling some of you guys or emailing you to get some video testimonials. Great work. Good stuff.
Bye, guys.